And good morning. Happy Friday to you. You are joining Kat's Home Chat, all things home. Anything can happen at home. Solopreneurs, entrepreneurs. Today, I am super excited to have my guest, Bill Baldwin, who is just an extraordinarily successful, phenomenal, connected, and insightful realtor and entrepreneur. If you're in real estate, if you've been doing it for a long time, or maybe you're new in real estate, or you're an entrepreneur, solopreneur, because these secrets that he's going to share for selling over, $1 billion in sales really can navigate success through all types of businesses. So tune in. If you can't watch it now, watch it on the flip side. But without further ado, Bill, thank you. Welcome to the
Thank you.
show.
I'm very excited to be here and kind of share what I've learned over the last 25 years being in real estate.
Absolutely. And I'm just going to give a brief little bio here because your creative director was so kind to send it over. So Bill is, as you're going to find out, he's passionate at what he does. He contributes to diversity, equity, and opportunity. He owns Boulevard Realty, which is an independent boutique. I love that. I consider myself a boutique staging and design company. He's very connected into volunteer and on several boards, director, etc. And he's also, my book hasn't come yet, an author close to my heart. I'm writing my book right now, soon to be announced. Heroes, Hopes, and High Water, Life Lessons in Turbulent Times. And these are lessons he learned and witnessed through the story of Houstonians coming together through Hurricane Harvey, which many of you remember. So a lot of credentials here, and we are excited for you to share your mojo, Bill. 5 things. We're going to try to keep this under 30 minutes. Bill and I could probably talk for 30 hours.
We can.
So sure, we'll have him back. But I asked Bill, share with our audience 5 things that you can do different to stand out and really blow up your real estate and or whatever kind of business, really. And the first one is going to amaze you because it's simple, but not always easy. So number 1, Bill, what is your number 1 answer to what you should do to be successful?
The secret to success in real estate really is answering your phone, being available, and
oh my God, that's a big thumbs up.
Really, it's not that difficult, but you would be surprised the number of people who just don't understand the importance of this. And look, today's society is just less tolerant. They're not willing to wait. It's an immediate society that we live in. If they want it, they go on Amazon and get it right that second. They're not willing to wait. And with the availability of just information and the way real estate works today, if you don't provide the information, someone else is willing and able to do so immediately, and then they're going to go do business with that person. So, look, setting an expectation, but being able. Look, I said on my cell phone, I'm sorry I'm not able to answer the phone. I probably can text where I am. Feel free to give me a text, and I will respond to you immediately. Even my email, someone in my business, I probably get 2,500 emails a day. Okay, wow. That's a couple hundred an hour in the peak of the day.
And that's why I was so impressed with you, Bill, because I reached out to you when I saw a little bio. I think it was on Facebook. I'm like, oh, I need to talk to this guy. We need to share his magic. He immediately responded. We immediately got on a phone call. And
if you don't, you'd have a different guest on here today if I hadn't done that.
I had a different guest, and and it's all about you were meant to be here and to share. And I like what you said about it's like, well, I'm with a client, I'm so busy, and I know you're going to get down to another point too, how to navigate that dynamic, because real estate is definitely not for the faint of heart, but there are tools. And Bill's going to share those tools and magic as we get into 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I love the tool about, okay, you're on the phone, you're doing something, have an automatic response set up. Is that what it is? An
Oh,
autoresponder?
absolutely. And or with my emails, okay, I pay one of my staff people to monitor my emails every minute and to respond immediately. So if you get a response from me, it's probably not me, but it's someone who will respond immediately, knowing exactly how I'm going to handle that. So I mean,
Yes.
you just, if someone says I'd like to list my house, they didn't just send it to me. They sent it to other people, and whoever responds promptly is probably has a better opportunity of winning it over those people, provided you have so many other attributes.
Absolutely. And for folks who might say, well, I haven't done $1 billion, I can't afford to have, well, that's okay. When you get to that
You're not
place,
getting 2,500 emails a day either,
Exactly. It's all relative, isn't it? So
Absolutely.
I like that for the solopreneur, whatever, maybe you're a home business, trying to build your business. AI, I hate to say it, but like autoresponders are
It's help
cheap, not free.
take advantage of it.
Yeah, and set up that system. So have those systems. But
And even with my clients, look, I'm known as being a very busy person. Someone knows I'm on a podcast right this second and I'm not able to answer the phone, but setting an expectation, even when Tim Surratt's a good friend, he sets on his voicemail every day, I will return my calls between 11 and 12 and between 3 and 4. That's at least a reasonable expectation that he has set for the people.
Do you think that works? Because I'll tell you, I went to a training years ago, 20 some years ago, and I thought, oh, that's really great. But maybe it was California at the time, I don't know. But back to your note of people want responses now. I think some people are like, yeah, well, that's not going to work for me. I want an answer now.
I serve on the board of the Realtor Association. One of the things we've been working on is leads. We get these email leads from har.com, but the overwhelming number of those leads are not even responded to. And it is for the Houston Associated of Realtors, it's one of the number one bitches that we get. I emailed an agent, they didn't email me back. So we're going to a new system where it will automatically respond to these people and provide some information. Because if you don't, I'm telling you, if they're going to har.com, they're also going to zillow.com, or they're going to realtor.com, or they're going someplace else. This isn't the only place that you can find a real estate agent. So immediate response, good communication, effective communication, figure out what is their expectation for communication. Do you want a daily report? Do you want a weekly report? We get this deal. I'd like feedback on the open house, Sunday at 5:01. Well, I don't have any information at 5:01. The people have to think about it. What's best after the open house is if someone comes back and makes another appointment on Monday, or if they call me and say that they're going to write me an offer, that's good communication. Otherwise, maybe they looked at a $2 million house in the Heights and they're going to go buy a $1 million house in Braze Heights. I mean, who knows? We always say, buyers are liars. I can't believe everything that they say, and I can't respond immediately to what they say. But what is the expectation for my client who's listed their house, who wants to know information?
So get that up front.
Very important.
And I've seen some that they put that in their intake in the beginning. So how would you best like to be communicated with, Bill? Is text?
Text is the number one. It's the easiest way. I can
for you. But I'm saying you need to have that conversation with your client, because if someone is of a particular age and they don't like to text or whatever, they say, oh no, I need a phone call. So setting those expectations, how would you like to communicate?
Absolutely.
Great. That's perfect. Okay, so let's go on to number 2, so we can get through all these great nuggets. But can't stress enough: communicate. You cannot over communicate. It's not possible. So what number 2 we have a vision and see it through. What does that look like?
I have a realistic vision, but allow for some flexibility. When I got started, I was new, just like anyone else, moved to the area, didn't know that many people, but I made myself go to work. There's something that I can do. I can preview houses. I can preview MLS information. I can research archived history. So, having a realistic expectation. I'm not one of these guys that has a coach that says from 8 to 9 do this, and 10 to 11 do this, and 3 to 4 do that. And that works for some people, and I get that. But for me, that doesn't work. But I do make myself go to work every day at a reasonable hour. I go to work very early, and I work a full day. I don't schedule massages at 3 p.m. or coffee with friends at 3 p.m. I make myself work, and there again, it's part of that. Am I available when something happens? And are you preparing yourself along the way when something does happen? I mean, we're all spending a lot of money, time, and effort to hope the phone rings, but if you're not available when the phone rings, or you're not prepared when the phone rings, it won't make much difference there. So I find that people,
so discipline. So
Yeah.
to have the work discipline, I read somewhere, pretend like you were hiring yourself.
right?
You're still in bed at 11, and I made a phone call.
Different agents bring different experiences, different entrepreneurs. Some people are very, very, very busy and they have more knowledge. Other people have more time. I mean, I visit with my younger agents. You know what you have is way more time than I do. You can spend more time with a client who deserves or demands more time. I'm not willing to go and take a client and show them Pearland, Kingwood, and the Woodlands, and then decide what subdivision they want to buy in. I don't have the time to do that.
I love
Someone else
that.
does.
Some people have more time. Some people have more money.
Right.
They're willing to buy that convenience, that hassle factor to be gone. Things you and I talked about beforehand. So that's great. Know know the needs of your buyer, your
Right.
seller. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, that's awesome. So let's see, aim high and make it happen. So with that, having a vision, do you do vision boards or set goals and things like that?
I do, but I'm a realist at the same time. I'm not just trying to have some lofty little goal. I think my goal is to work hard every day and take advantage of the opportunities that are given to me. And like I say, I at this point in my career, I'm not going to be all things to all people. So I'm going to, and in the beginning, I do tell my newer agents, become an expert in one thing. It doesn't matter what it is. Are you an expert in post-divorce purchasing? Are you an expert in internationalism? Are you an expert in your particular subdivision? Are you a new construction expert? Are you a flooding expert? Are you a historic district expert? I mean, it doesn't matter. Pick something that interests you, and really immerse yourself into that deal so that you can have an adequate conversation with people and appear to be more knowledgeable than the consumer. Consumers today find houses. We no longer find houses for people. They have stalked the seller. They have Googled them. They have LinkedIn them. They know more about the sellers and sometimes the house than we do. What we do have is a wealth of knowledge about the community, the trend, the history, the expectation, what new is coming up, what are the regulations, what are the limitations, what do you want to do? Airbnb this, or park your RV here, or put up your flag here. And they don't know how to navigate those things. So they barely need us to let them in the door, but what they need us to do is navigate the process, the negotiations, the inspections, the financing, the insurance, there's so many things that the consumer will find value with a professional other than just, finding a house. I found the house myself, so will you do it for half the cost? No, because that's not what we got paid to do. We got paid to do these other things along the way. So I think there again, it just goes back to, can you have and articulate your vision for your client? What is it that you're going to do for them? Same with listing a house. You're not just taking some photos and putting it on the MLS and it sells itself or whatever. And look, the past couple of years, many of them did sell themselves. But are you helping them choose which of the multiple offers to choose, which is the more likely to make it to the end? Is it sometimes the highest offer isn't the best offer? Sometimes people just get you under contract, but they might get 4 houses under contract at the same week or whatever, and then pick which one they want. You're having to navigate the process, and it's going back to your deal. You've got to be able to make sure that your client, whoever you represent, whatever it is that you're doing. Today, I like to buy clothes, and look, I could buy them online, but what I want is the salesperson to tell me about the different fabrics. How am I going to be hot in this in July? Should this be 2 inches longer? What do you think what color combination would you put together that I would normally put together? I mean, there's value in a trusted salesperson who's helping you dress the best that you can dress, right? I mean, it's not just a function of buying it online. They sell the same Etro shirt in 1,000 places or whatever, but I'm willing to go to one place to purchase that because I want their valued experience and advice along the way.
Absolutely. And I like that. And you've done a very good job in the areas, the area that you've just really embraced and connected with and have become such an expertise in. And I'm sure your success is attributed to them. They can sense that all of the nuances, and like
You have to have a vision in what it is that we do. A lot of times people would like say, oh, I'm walking in the door, and many times it happens, my furniture will never look this good, so my house will never look this good, which is part of the problem. Or I love so much about this house, but I don't like these things. And when I started selling little bungalows in the Heights 25 years ago, look, they were rental properties. There were bars on the windows. There was pink carpet on there, but you can get rid of the bars and get rid of the pink carpet and restore the hardwood floors and see the amazing old tile that was covered up with the carpet also.
Yeah.
And that's the vision that they want you to have in order to say, yeah, this is going to be spectacular with a little bit of elbow grease or effort.
Unfortunately, studies tell us that about 87% of buyers polled really have a hard time envisioning, which is why, I cringe when I see vacant homes for sale, at least, maybe not for lease, because even if they have different furniture, what you're doing is you're selling a lifestyle, whether you're selling in Heights or River Oaks or the Woodlands or wherever, you're selling a lifestyle. We have a saying, that staging creates emotion and buyers justify price with emotion. I think it was Gary Keller. He said, price gets you interest, staging gets you offers. So it's back to that emotion, and you're doing it when you have to, and you don't have the visual magic of staging. You're doing it by your sheer knowledge of, let me show you what I've seen. I've seen that without this is what you can do, on whatever, rehab or with the bars or the pink walls or whatever. To help them envision the lifestyle that they're looking for. Absolutely. So that goes back to, I guess we're in three. If you're not the expert in something, find the person who is. So I think this is
surround yourself with experts. We need stagers. We need a title officer who can explain bridges of coverage. You need an inspector that you can call. You need a pest control expert who can tell you about different bugs. You need a stucco expert. You need a flooding expert. You need a historic district expert. I mean, there's so many people out there that make themselves available, and they love them.
So don't try to be, let's see, we have what's called stagents, affectionately. Don't try to be the realtor, the stager, the photographer, and what else? The painter. And the mortgage guy. Yeah.
You can do it well, and then you won't have to do all of those things anyway. But yeah, I mean, surround yourself with other experts. Because I have so much knowledge of the city and, like I say, historic district flooding, probably typically on an average day, a dozen different agents from different firms call me and ask my opinion. But look, if I'm going to go show a house in River Oaks, I'm going to call Laura Sweeney and ask her opinion about certain things. Or if I'm going to go sell, in a certain area and there's an agent that's done a lot of business there, I'm going to reach out to them or whatever. What do you think of this sort of thing?
Sure, because that's their sweet spot.
Build relationships.
Build relationships and sharing. And who knows, you probably end up on the other, on each side of the deal. So
absolutely. When I was a young agent, I used to be more aggressive, and I was, I'd get frustrated with agents. I would speak my mind. Now I realize, as the broker, look, we're going to have to co-op with one of these people, next month. So we don't all have the same skill set. We don't all have the same passion, but we can work together. And so I think by building relationships with other agents, which, look, when I take a listing and I say, look, if we get an offer from an old Heights bungalow, I'm going to vet, has that agent sold 50 old bungalows? If they're coming from Kingwood and they've never sold a crawl space house made out of wood that's 100 years old, that's going to have inadequate framing and ponding under the house and no insulation, I mean, then that transaction.
Don't you sell those as is?
Right. They can always terminate an option period. So does the agent have a reasonable expectation? I'm selling an old house. My clients are very old, and it hasn't had much work done to it. So we had multiple offers. We interviewed every offer so that because look, I don't want to sell a house with another agent to a young couple, and they don't have a reasonable expectation of old houses. Look, old wooden houses with old wooden windows that are in a historic district that you can't change are expensive. The utility bill is more expensive. The painting is more expensive. Replacing rotten wood is more expensive. And, we just wanted, even my seller wanted to make sure that these people have it. They loved that house. They lived there 25 years. They want the next person to love it and live there. Yes. We don't pass on the love letter things or whatever, because I do think there's liability there to everyone. But I do think making sure there's a reasonable expectation.
I like that. We had an experience with a family duplex in Old Town Orange in California, and learned that right away. It's like, we're putting it as is. You're buying a historic, that we're not doing it. It's because you could just go down that rabbit hole and.
Well, if you say it's as is, we have one, and then they inspect it, and the deck is all rotten and termite infested. The next person's going to want the deck and the termite infested deck. That sells it. Well, it was as is. Well, as is, but they didn't know this. You have new information, and so that's why you're going to get to deal with these people or the next ones, because is it a reason?
So something like that. Like, what did they end up having to?
Oh yeah, we gave them $20,000 to deal with that.
Yeah. Throw some money at them and let them fix it. Yeah. That would be an issue. Okay, so find experts. That's key, because you can't do it yourself. I know we touched a little bit on being hyper local.
We really are selling neighborhoods. So if you really can't intrinsically talk about a particular, what's the difference between the Heights and Montrose and Westview? And you have to be able to articulate that about, the different things. Plus, you want them to experience these different things. But neighborhoods evolve and change all the time. I mean, we sold a very expensive house recently, and the people could have lived everywhere. And they looked in River Oaks, that what are we going to walk to in River Oaks? Nothing. It's beautiful. The houses are all beautiful. But what's more important to us is walkability. And they bought a house behind a coffee shop and say, are you willing to put up with the noise of a coffee shop and people parking in front of your house? They came from New York. They laughed at me and said, you think this is noisy? This isn't anything. But what we want is to walk to a coffee shop.
Yes. So it's all relative. Never assume, what people's expectation or their experience is. So I love that, just to be hyper local. I know, realtors, take referrals and end up going in different places. But I think you're canvassing, you're, gathering information, et cetera, the hyper locality, it really is beneficial. And I can see, for success.
Well, and even for us, the rules and regulations in Hunter's Creek are different from Westview, which are different from the city of Houston, which is different from the city of Bel Air. I mean, you've got to understand that portion of how it's going to work.
Which is critical. Absolutely. Okay, I'm going down the list here. Tell me if you want to. I think the last one here is find issues that matter to you and take action. And let's talk about your sector in flooding, right?
Yeah, I mean, they want to do business with people who are like you. You're going to share these attributes, whether that's breast cancer awareness, whether that's historic preservation, whether it's there's so many things. But I would find your passion, and then someone will want to do business with you because you're passionate about something. And that could be a fellow church member, could be a fellow LSU alumnus. It doesn't matter what it is, but we try and tell our agents, put those things out there. Someone wants to do, an Aggie likes to do business with an Aggie. A divorced woman likes to do business with a divorced woman. I mean,
so find that connection.
That's
find
right.
your passion, because like you said, if you're people are gravitated towards that. If you're passionate about what you do, they want to know more.
We found, after a number of years, and if you achieve some level of success, it's not just about making more money. You have to leave the world a better place than where you found it, and you have to inspire others.
Amen. That's a thumbs up. That is such a thumbs up.
So do both. People, you can't serve on a bunch of committees, and you can't go to a bunch of things and sell real estate, and bullshit on that. You can, and you can network at an event, and you can be passionate about Crime Stoppers, or you can be passionate about, Memorial Hermann Health or Children's Health or diabetes or Alzheimer's or any of these things. and sell real estate or, create a business environment, whatever.
Well, and guess what? What is the side effect besides doing, following your heart, contributing to society, making the world a better place? Well, you're meeting people.
Right.
You're meeting people who,
It's
with
connected.
like-minded, who want to do business with.
That's right.
No like and trust.
Plenty of choices. Some people don't want to do business with a friend, but many people do want to do business with a friend. And so I think that's what you do is you cultivate relationships. Real estate is all about relationships.
It's really about, it is. It's the people. It's a people business, really not a house selling business. It's a people business.
That's right. Yeah, houses are secondary.
But I'll tell you, I just give such kudos to the realtors out there because you have to juggle so much. People don't realize really everything that you have to, the landmines, the things you have to navigate, negotiate, really have a psychology background because, you need to keep, don't you find you need to keep like everything's going to the hell in a handbasket with inspection or this and that. And you need to keep the solid, calm front to your buyer or seller, right?
Sure.
And,
or the other agent, cooperating agent.
The other agent, yeah. It's a quite a psychological.
It's a delicate balance, but it's kind of like Babe Ruth over there batting. You're not going to strike a home run all the time. You're going to strike out more than you're going to hit a home run. But there's preparation before you get on the mound to hit the ball there, and so there's things that you're doing along the way. And every career has that same thing. We talk about, what I don't want to do is be a dentist. I don't want to be in someone's mouth all day long, but there's someone that does want to be a dentist, right? So I'm working in dentistry. For me, what we do, someone else doesn't necessarily want to do either. We're the last guy to get paid. The inspector got paid, the appraiser got paid, the mortgage. We don't get paid unless it closes. And so
you spend a lot of time, money, gas, and everything before you even get paid.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's an expensive industry to work in, but like I say, it's a numbers game also. The more you do it, the more success you have. And, we tell that same thing, the newer agents, if you graduated with a degree in brain surgery tomorrow, and you've done one brain surgery in practice and someone else has done it 5,000 times, you're competing with a guy that someone only wants the guy with 5,000 times, but he might have a 3-month waiting list and you might be able to take him tomorrow. So find your
time, talent, and experience. And I use that, in my industry. I'm like, no, I don't charge on my designs. I don't charge, or it's a consultation. I don't charge for my time because what I can do in an hour and a half consultation, it might take 3 for another because, I've spent, time, talent, energy, and experience learning what I do to do it very efficiently. So I don't want to be penalized for being charged by the hour. And they're good with that. It's like, and that comes with with experience, doing it enough. So I come to just a little lessons you've learned, and I want to talk about never. I'm going to change the sheet just a little bit. I like your don't be afraid to fail. So I want to piggyback with that. One of my pet peeves. And that is whether it's whatever business you have, be confident in it. Do not, even if you're new and hungry, don't be a discount broker. Don't sell your services short because you're talented, and you bring a lot to the table, even if you're new. So can you speak to that a little bit? How
I wake up every day and I say, I can sell a house today.
Yeah,
I can sell a house today. There's nothing that's stopping me from selling a house today, right? And that's the beautiful thing about it. But it is a business that ebbs and flows. The fall of Enron, I had a closing on 9/11/2001. The bank shut down, the wires shut down. You have to be able to deal with hurricanes and COVID and pandemics and all kinds, freezes. Recessions and boom times. And I think it's the long game. You've got to continue to invest in the long game and not get too caught up into just today or what might happen today. Take your licks, put on your big girl panties and go on back out there and make an effort at it. And that's what the successful people are really doing. They're never letting, you lose a listing to someone else and you get all depressed about it. There are lots of reasons people choose. Many of my agents, they're very upset when their next door neighbor doesn't list with them. Some neighbors do not want to be that intrinsically involved with their next door neighbor. These are financial decisions. Maybe they're taking a new job they don't want anyone to know. Perhaps they're getting ready to divorce. There's lots of reasons that you might not want to use someone that you know very well.
A neighbor or a friend. I used to say, you may want to reconsider hiring a relative or a friend. How close are you to them? Maybe just have me pay them a referral, or when I was practicing real estate, or you pay them a referral. Because you want to be able to, I hate to say it, but be very honest with them. Maybe you have to fire them, I don't know. But you don't want to jeopardize that relationship, depending on how, precious that relationship is. That could be difficult. All right, so we're coming here to 30 minutes. And so where are we? So I like your life is not defined by failure. If you don't take a risk, you'll never grow personally or professionally.
Right.
So
I learn something new every day. People say, oh, you have all this experience. Look, rules change, regulations change, the country changes, the economics change.
Keep educating, keep learning. Reach out to people like Bill and other seasoned realtors who can mentor you. And again, it's not these things about communication, tenacity, having a niche, all these things really segue into really almost
every business. That's who I want to do business with, who have those characteristics in retail and professional services, whether it's the lawyer or the dentist or the doctor, it's the same thing. I think doctors have gotten away with very poor customer service. I'm not going to go to a doctor's office and wait a damn hour. There's someone that will see me quick. If you can't schedule better than that, get out of being a doctor. Because there are more than one doctors, and you be respectful of my time if you expect me to go and pay you money for your services.
Don't get me on the whole medical thing, and we could do a whole other thing on Big Pharma. Okay. This has been fabulous, Bill. You are just a plethora of knowledge and positivity and magic. And I hope if you're listening out there, you share it with someone who needs to hear it. And just a reminder, this will go on our YouTube channel, Ta-Da by Kat, within about 48 hours. It's streaming on LinkedIn. And also, if you just want to listen to it while you're driving, it will be on podcast, on all the podcast platforms. So if you're watching this on YouTube now, go ahead and click the bell so you get reminded, and whatever, smash the bell and what is it, join or something like that. I forget what it's called. Follow. And update, we are doing these twice a month now. We've been doing replays. So I'm really happy to have Bill and get back in the swing of doing a live. And we'll have a special guest in 2 weeks. We'll reveal that in the next 10 days or so. But Bill, thank you so much.
Thank you. I love the opportunity to visit and share what knowledge I have. And
absolutely love meeting you. And you're just a jewel and a treasure. I'm going to get out to see you in person. Perfect. And folks, as always, stay positive, stay hopeful, and stay connected. And thanks for connecting with me and Bill today. And have a super weekend. Bye.